Hello, it's Anne-Marie from Ruby Red Coaching and Consulting, and welcome to the third in my four-part video series of top tips to help you avoid and reduce leadership burnout and fatigue. Now, we all know that it can get a bit lonely in the hot seat of leadership. But the COVID pandemic, especially during lockdown, has taken leadership isolation to a whole new level. And loneliness isn't just experienced in relation to your physical proximity to other people. It's also about the emotional and mental connections you have with others. So in other words, it's the quality and depth of your relationships, and particularly among your peers. This is important because there's a ton of research that demonstrates that strong peer relationships are directly associated with good mental health and productivity, which are critical factors in reducing the risk of leadership burnout and fatigue. But as you rise up that leadership ladder, the pool of people with whom you can comfortably share your work-related concerns becomes increasingly limited. There are fewer people with whom you can safely share your fears and challenges, bounce ideas off of, admit your lack of knowledge or experience to, or just to have a productive vent and a reframe when you need it. And in practical terms, the buck might literally stop with you. There may not be anyone more senior to you to support you in the way that you're expected to support those you lead, particularly during a period of prolonged crisis. And studies show that the intense pressures experienced throughout the pandemic, combined with that relative physical isolation, have absolutely had a direct and negative impact on leaders' relationships. And in one recent global study, 1/3 of senior leaders reported worsening relationships with peers during the pandemic. And sadly, almost 2/3 of that group also reported decreasing mental health. The bottom line is no one person is an island. More than ever, leaders need to work through their issues of trust and blame and competition and imposter syndrome and just busyness to build better peer relationships so they can remain resilient and effective and happy and impactful. So here are 3 tips to help you build and maintain stronger peer relationships. First, establish your own personal board of advisors. Do a bit of an audit and make a list of your go-to people. The ones whose opinions you most respect and the ones that offer you unconditional support and tough love when you need it most. Be sure to let your advisors know that their importance to you and exactly what it is that you value receiving from them. That gesture reinforces your connection, it builds trust, and ensures they know how to continue to best support you. And then, what else do you notice about the people on your list? Are they made up of colleagues, competitors, outside work friends? Are they very similar to you? It's important that you have a helpful mix of people in there with different experiences and perspectives and talents. Give some thought as to what you need to do to round out that board. Who do you need to connect with? Who do you need to mend fences with or invest more time with? And then take appropriate action. Second tip, stay curious and actively listen. When we're in the midst of a crisis and or burnout, people tend to put their heads down, focus hard on the task at hand, and move on to the next thing as quickly as they possibly can. When in fact, this is exactly the moment when you should be taking a step back and gathering in as much data and support as possible. So give people your full attention and really hear what they're saying. Don't stay fixed on what you think they're going to say or what your response should be. Ask questions about their experiences and how they might tackle an issue. This allows you to demonstrate your respect and interest in them as a person, and this in turn creates stronger connections and potentially more and better solutions to your challenges. So it's a win-win. And this approach leads me very nicely to our third top tip. You get back what you put in. So if you want open and honest relationships with your peers, take the first step and be more open and honest with others. If you want empathetic and constructive feedback from your peers, start doing the same more often for others. Demonstrate your commitment by making the effort to connect more frequently and consistently, even if it's just to check in on how their day's been, and even when you don't care. Remember, making the time required to build resistance-nurturing relationships is an essential investment in your personal support and your strategic business value to the organization. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week. Have a glorious weekend.